Welcome back to English from A to Z, English in real life. So, today we're diving into a huge topic, one that affects all of us, climate change. But we're going to come at it from a really interesting angle, using some of the most powerful, flexible little tools in the English language, phrasal verbs. We're going to break down how you can use them to talk about this massive global issue with total confidence. Okay, how is that even possible, right? How can the same two little words describe a planetary emergency and also something you do in your kitchen? Well, that question gets right to the heart of what makes phrasal verbs so amazing. They're like little linguistic chameleons. The exact same phrase you use to talk about the planet getting warmer could be the one you use for your dinner. Let's see how it works. Okay, so first things first. To talk about a problem, you need the right words, right? This first set of phrasal verbs is all about helping us paint a really clear picture of the challenges our planet is facing. All right, kicking things off with one you probably already know, heat up. It's so simple. It just means to get warmer, to increase in temperature, but its real power comes from how we can use it. And here's where it gets so cool. So check this out. On one side, you've got this enormous global scale. The planet is heating up. But then look at the other side. Same exact verb, totally different world. You're just heating up your leftovers in the microwave. The meaning, getting warmer, is exactly the same. It's that versatility that's just incredible. Next up, we have dry up. This one, wow, it just paints such a clear picture in your head, doesn't it? It's about the complete loss of water or liquid until absolutely nothing is left. And look, we're seeing that exact same pattern again. On the one hand, a huge environmental catastrophe that takes years, a lake drying up. On the other hand, something that happens in minutes on your kitchen floor, some spilled juice that dries up. The core idea is identical. A liquid has disappeared. All right, so we've got the words to describe what's happening, but why is it happening? And what are the results? This next section is all about cause and consequence, the verbs we really need to get a handle on the impact of it all. Well, if you want to talk about the cause of something, you often have to talk about dependence. And that's where rely on is just perfect. It means you need something. You're dependent on it for something else to work. And these examples, they just perfectly capture that idea of dependency. We've got this massive societal dependence. Humans rely on fossil fuels. Then you have something incredibly personal, having to rely on your family when you're hurt. In both cases, one thing just can't function properly without the other. Now, moving from the cause to the consequence, we have die out. This is the verb you need when something disappears, forever. And the word you really want to hang on to here is gradual. It's not sudden. It's a slow fade into non-existence. But here's what's so cool about this phrase. It's not just for plants and animals. Of course, we can talk about a species dying out, but you can also use it for culture, like when traditional skills are dying out because nobody learns them anymore. The core idea of that slow disappearance is exactly the same. Okay, so if die out is a slow fade to black, wipe out is a sudden, dramatic explosion. It also means to eliminate something completely, but there's nothing gradual about it. This one is all about fast, total, and often violent destruction. Wow, just feel the power in these sentences. Pollution wiped out entire ecosystems. And on the other side, a force of nature. The hurricane wiped out the entire neighborhood. You can just feel that sense of sudden, complete devastation in both of them. Okay, I know that last section was a little heavy, so let's totally switch gears, because it is not all doom and gloom. Now we're going to look at the language of solutions. These are the powerful phrasal verbs we use when we talk about fighting back and taking action. So one of the first things we can do is cut down on something. It's all about reduction. It means you make a deliberate choice to use less of something or do something less often. It's the language of changing your habits for the better. And once again,
look at the incredible range here. On a huge, global scale, we need to cut down on our use of fossil fuels. And on a really personal scale, you might say, I'm cutting down on sugar. Both are about making a conscious choice to reduce. It's all about positive change.
But, sometimes reducing isn't enough. Sometimes you have to actively demand something better. And for that, you need strong, determined verbs, like fight for or push for. They both mean you are trying with everything you've got to make a change happen.
You can see it right here. The community is fighting for cleaner air and water. You feel that struggle. Or in a completely different area, the workers are pushing for higher wages. Both phrases just scream active, determined effort to achieve a goal. And of course, the last piece of the puzzle for making change happen, it's all about getting involved, about participation. And for that, we have the perfect phrase, take part in. It's about joining in, being part of a group, and working as a team. This is what it sounds like when people come together to make a difference. I took part in a beach cleanup event, or we take part in a fundraising challenge every year. It's the absolute opposite of standing on the sidelines. It's about jumping in and being part of the action. Okay, you've got all these awesome new verbs. Now, let's make sure you know exactly how to use them like a pro. Think of this as your technical toolkit, the little rules that will make everything work perfectly.
All right, let's zoom in on these top tips. They're actually pretty simple. First up, if you see something written after the verb, that just means it needs an object. Easy. Second, if that something is in the middle, like wipe something out, the verb is separable. That's cool because you can say wipe the ecosystem out or wipe out the ecosystem. You have a choice. Third, if something comes at the end, like rely on something, it's inseparable. They have to stay together, like best friends. So you have to say rely on fossil fuels. And finally, now listen closely, because this is the big one, the most common mistake. When you're using a separable verb with a pronoun like it or them, the pronoun has to go in the middle. It's always wipe it out. Never, ever wipe out it. Got it?
And that's a wrap. We've gone all the way from describing huge problems to talking about real solutions. You now have this amazing toolkit that lets you talk about the world, from the biggest global crises all the way down to what you're doing in your own life. So the only real question left is, which one of these are you going to use today? Go on, give one a try.